You're listening to Straight Outta Stratford 203 with Zach and Julian, the best sports podcast in Connecticut. Sit back and enjoy the ride in 3, 2, 1.
Straight out of Stratford, slinging takes like Stafford, talking all the big games, have a beer right after. When it comes to the facts and the stats we provide, better know that our names will be up in the rafters.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Straight Outta Stratford podcast, episode number 44. I'm your host, Zach.
And I am Julian.
And we are back in the studio giving you the newest updates of what's been going on in the sports world as we get towards the middle of the summer coming up very soon, obviously.
Yeah.
It's almost time for a lot of sports to be over. We're in the playoffs for quite a few of them and obviously off season for the football. But we are going to talk a little bit about baseball first, obviously, because that's the one sport that's really, I would say, getting underway. A little bit more mid-swing because they still got a lot of season left. But the MLB season's starting to get into the heat of it right now.
I was going to say that's the one sport right now that's like full swing, no pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. And we just came off of a Subway Series, which, I mean, I went in very, I guess the word is skeptical of how it was going to go.
And you came out on the better side of it.
Yeah, and the Mets actually came out on the better side of it, winning 2 of 3 games, obviously dropping the first one, but then winning the second 2 games.
Well, yeah, because you got the best pitcher in the league on the mound for the first game, and then you go and second game you got it was Rodon not knowing how to throw a baseball to the plate.
Yeah, Rodon did not look really great in that game either. That wild pitch really was what ended up costing them big.
You hold on to the ball.
I was surprised they scored 2 runs on it myself. I was watching that. And
I was sitting there. I'm like, you catch the ball, not in your glove. You catch it barehanded. You're already moving to the right with your forward momentum, and you throw it back to the left. Hold on to the ball.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking on that either. He would have been better off holding the ball. They only would have scored 1 run from it. I was kind of surprised by that, trying to just do too much. Well, like you said, first game, Mets bats, nowhere to be found. Cam Schlittler comes out and pitches extremely well, striking out 9 batters through 6 2/3 innings. He looked really, really good in that game. You had Cody Bellinger, who came up big for them multiple times. He had 2 RBIs in the game, both off of RBI doubles. You had Jazz Chisholm have a 2 RBI double as well. Then, Ben Rice continues his hot streak. He hits a solo shot.
Is top 5 in the league, I'd say.
Yeah, he's on fire right now. I mean, we've talked about him multiple times on the show. It makes sense as to why he gets as much credit as he does. He's been
I think there's some people that aren't giving him enough credit.
Well, to be honest with you, I think he's easily been the Yankees' most consistent and best player so far.
I think they have to extend him like right now.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to consider it.
No, not consider it. I think they have to get it down.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is they're going to have to think about how much money they're going to want to spend on him and stuff like that because, you're going to probably have a lockout next season, so I'm curious to see how they go about it. Then you did have Soto hitting a home run in that game and Brett Beatty having an RBI double late in the 9th. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough for them. They dropped the first game. Game 2, like we talked about, Rodon kind of botching a wild pitch and then throwing the ball away on the rebound when he gets it back. Mets scored 2 runs from that. The big turning point of the game, though, was former Yankee Luke Weaver coming in. What a performance. He comes in, bases loaded, no outs, and gets out of the inning.
Strikes out the first 2 batters. And then my best friend on that team, I don't know this guy in person, but my favorite player, Anthony Volpe, comes up to the plate. And I am standing in front of my TV, screaming, just don't strike out. And I was the only one in my house at the time, so I was like, I was screaming.
Yeah.
I was like, don't strike out.
You probably said a little bit more than that.
I did. He hit the ground ball, and let's just say, choice words were said.
Yes. No, that was very surprising. I saw them load the bases up, and I go, oh, boy, here we go. Here comes a Luke Weaver masterclass against the Yankees.
That's what I thought. I'm like, Luke Weaver's going to come in. He's going to give up 2-3 runs.
Yep. I thought that for sure. I was like, oh, he's guaranteed to give up a couple runs here, especially with the bases loaded. I was like, oh, no.
But no, he strikes out Grisham. He strikes out. I don't know who else he struck out.
Yeah, it was the bottom of the order. So
it was probably McMahon.
Wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, no. And then later in that game, you have Brett Beatty again, RBI double. Mark Vientos had 3 RBIs in the game. The Mets end up winning that game 6-3. Very huge win. But the third game was probably one of the more interesting ones that I've seen.
I can't speak about it. I didn't even watch that game. I wasn't home.
Well, neither was I, but I was tuning into it because
I can't.
playing some golf.
You're done. Like I was at the beach and they were up 6-2, and then all of a sudden I'm getting food at Dutch's and they're up, and it's tie game in the 10th, and I'm like,
Yep.
what are you doing?
Yeah, of all people too, Tyrone Taylor, bottom 9. 3-run home run off of David Bednar to tie it.
No offense, but I don't know much about Tyrone Taylor.
Trust me, not a lot of Mets fans do, other than the fact that he's great in the field. I've said that multiple times. His fielding is very, very efficient. And then his batting, he either goes on a tear and hits the cover off the ball or couldn't hit a beach ball. And he comes out and smokes a shot to left field. Looked like it was going foul, ends up going fair. Bednar blows the save in that game. And then they come out in the 10th inning. Carson Bench gets up with runners on and grounds a ball up the middle. And I don't remember who it was. I don't know if they made substitutions. But whoever's playing short and second crash into each other, and the run comes in and the Mets walk off to win the series.
I can guarantee you it was most likely... His defense, was probably Volpe.
I think it was Volpe. I could be wrong.
Was it Rosario at second?
It may have been Rosario. I know it was not it wasn't Jazz.
No, it had to be Volpe and Rosario. Then.
Yeah, and they both bump into each other, and the Mets end up walking it off. That was a great series for the Mets to win. Then the Mets and Yankees both come out after the Subway Series and split. Obviously, the Mets with the Washington Nationals, Yankees split with the Blue Jays. The big thing I just want to talk about for at least those two teams in that last series.
Grisham is terrible.
Yeah. I know that we've said on the show Trent Bonds. He is not Trent Bonds anymore.
No.
He's
more like the Matt Carpenter of 2025.
He may be worse. He may be Joey Gallo.
Well, no. Matt Carpenter in 2022 played like 60-something games with the Yankees, had like 15 home runs, and he was batting like 260. That's what he did last year.
Well, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you were saying this year. I was like, this year he looks like Joey Gallo.
This year he's Joey Gallo.
Yeah,
I'm saying last year he was like Matt Carpenter, and this year he's
Joey Gallo.
I don't even think Joey Gallo.
I
don't even think Joey Gallo had like 5 home runs with the Yankees his entire career.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, Grisham's been awful. I think the last I checked, he was batting 167.
Probably doing, I'll check that right now.
It's probably close. The one thing I will say, though, is in the midst of all of this, there are some good and bad things that we could pull from the Yankees' play over the past week.
Ben Rice.
Well, obviously, Ben Rice. I'll start it out with at least the Mets, because obviously, being the Mets fan, I've noticed quite a few things over the past couple of games that they've played, from the Subway Series to the National Series. Soto and Bo Bichette are both starting to hit the ball. What's he batting?
174. Still not great.
That's awful.
His career batting average is 215.
That's awful.
That's terrible.
174 career average of 215 is terrible. But yeah, anyway, Juan Soto and Bo Bichette both starting to crush the ball, hitting the ball really well for the Mets. That's a big positive I've noticed. The negative things I've seen: Clay Holmes breaking his leg off of a Spencer Jones comebacker in the first game of the series, so he's going to be sidelined until at least August. That's going to hurt the Mets pitching staff big time. They're going to have to start calling up some of their younger arms. I know they did the other night and brought up a guy, I believe it's Zach Thornton, pitched in his first career game. He's been in the minors for 12 years. Started out really shaky, started to settle in towards the end, but it was a little too late. Nolan McLean hadn't looked good in his last 2 starts. The first one wasn't really as bad. Second one against the Nationals was not pretty at all.
Bummer.
Yeah, so that has not been good for them either. But yeah, the Mets are starting to find ways to win some games. They're at least splitting series or winning some series. So, there's still a lot of season left to go. They could potentially make a turnaround, especially when you start getting guys like Luis Robert, hopefully back soon. No one knows the severity of Lindor's injury yet, so we don't know. I think they're going to be checking in on him soon to see when he will be available. It's just been a very frustrating start, but at least they're starting to piece some things together. I like a lot of the young guys that they've brought up thus far. But then in at least relation to the Yankees, again.
You have Bellinger looking like MVP Bellinger.
Yeah, Bellinger's been great.
I feel like a lot of people are overlooking how great he is defensively in the field.
He is, and he's versatile.
And you look at the amount of because it's not shown as much, but within the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I remember even last year when they played the Mets around the 4th of July, he had that crazy basket catch, and then he threw the run around at first or second. Yep. Bellinger isn't as bad defensively as most people think he is. He's actually had a few plays within the last week that saved extra base hits and stopped runs from scoring.
Oh yeah, and
his bat is finally just back to where it was.
Back to almost his MVP kind of season. Not only him, Ben Rice we've talked about again.
Oh yeah, and you have Jazz finally starting to.
Jazz is coming up a little bit.
Okay, you know what's hilarious that I think isn't talked about as much, but the fact that it's working is just hilarious in itself. The fact that he's using other people's pants to try and break out of his slump, and it's actually working.
Yeah, he's wearing Giancarlo Stanton's pants. Listen, whatever you got to do to break out of the slump, go for it. I mean, it's working for him. I believe he was below 200 at one point. Now he's batting somewhere in the 230s.
Well, I believe for Colorado to break out of his slump, he took a shower with his full uniform on.
He did.
And then he wound up on the IR.
Yeah. So hopefully that does not happen with Jazz.
No.
Speaking of IR, though, the Yankees are getting some reinforcements.
Yes.
As Garrett
finally,
Cole.
Yes, Garrett Cole does make his return tonight. His first start since the World Series in the major leagues.
Yeah. So it'll be very interesting to see how he looks when he comes back. At least they're getting an arm. They lose Fried, and, you get Cole back. So it's a kind of even trade-off, I'd say. But both New York teams still got a long season ahead. I'm curious to see how both teams figure their situations out. But we are going to move to the NFL. Couple quick things in news.
Mr. Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers announces that 26
will be his last season in the NFL.
After 22 years.
So if you're a Packers fan, if you're a Steelers fan, if you're just a fan of the sport, I'd take it all in.
If you're a Jets fan. Although I know that was more of a joke. But, yeah, he's got quite the resume.
I got an even bigger joke.
Okay.
Are there any Jets fans?
I don't know. Not out in the public. They're probably hiding somewhere.
Sorry, Cage.
Yeah. But, yeah, Rodgers will be retiring at the end of the year. He's built up quite the resume throughout his career. 4-time NFL MVP, tied the second most in NFL history with Peyton Manning. 10-time Pro Bowl selection, 4-time first-team All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, and Super Bowl 45 MVP. He was part of the NFL 2010s All-Decade team. He's first in all-time passer rating during the regular season, 4th all-time in passing touchdowns, 5th all-time in passing yards, and he has the lowest career interception percentage.
Isn't he
NFL.
13 behind Peyton Manning for touchdowns?
I believe if I saw it correctly, Peyton Manning was at 539 and Rodgers at 527. So if he throws, I believe, 13 touchdowns, he passes him.
He will. I think he will.
Oh, he's definitely going to.
He's going to wind up with 25.
Most likely. I would see that he's going to try and push
wait
that.
a second. The Steelers have DK. They got Pittman. They have he's going to wind up with 40 touchdown passes.
I don't know about 40.
Not 40, but I could see him. I could see the upside.
You also have to remember he is older, and you do not want him to get hurt. He gets hit a couple times.
He's older, yes, but you have to remember he did win a Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy in Green Bay.
You're right.
And I'm not saying that the Steelers are going to go to the bowl.
No, they're not.
But I'm just saying Rodgers loves Mike McCarthy's system.
Yeah, you're right. It could potentially
I could see him winning I could see him making at least a wild card with McCarthy, maybe going on a run.
Yeah.
But I could see him throwing at least 30 to 40 touchdown passes with the weapons that he has.
Maybe.
Floor 25, ceiling 30 to 40.
He threw 24 last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and they got better on offense.
Yeah, so I could potentially.
They also got Rico Dowdle, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They did get Rico Dowdle. So it helps their run game a little bit, too. But I think that he'll probably end up somewhere in that realm. Then you also have some other crazy news, which usually I wouldn't bring this up, but you have to.
You have NFL players that are young. You give them money, and they just do the most stupidest things. They get away with those stupid things, and then they go ahead and do something to make it worse.
Yeah, so let's run through that. If you didn't know who we were talking about, it is Rashee Rice, as they found out yesterday or a couple days ago that he had ended up violating his probation due to a positive THC or marijuana test. So they drug tested him, and he failed it. So now he is sentenced to 30 days in prison. I'm assuming he'll also be fined by the NFL for violating it as well.
He was supposed to serve those 30 days in prison over the span of 5 years, but since he violated his parole, he has to do it immediately.
Yep.
And what sucks about that is that Rashee Rice had surgery a week ago on his leg.
Yep.
But now he can't do recovery for his surgery because he has to be in prison.
And he also will not be at minicamp.
He won't be at minicamp, and he is also missing the OTAs.
Yeah, which is going to be crazy. Now, I'll just run through his timeline really quick, just to give you an idea. And now, I've seen videos of people talking about this, saying the Chiefs need to cut Rashee Rice. I'm like torn on that, because at the end of the day, the guy is extremely talented.
It doesn't matter how talented you are, right? Look at Antonio Brown. He was talented. He was a head case. He got cut by the Raiders. He was shipped off by the Steelers. He was released by the Patriots after 3 games.
And then also you could look at the same exact organization and look at Kareem Hunt and where he is. No one thought that Kareem Hunt was going to be allowed, especially after the whole Ray Rice situation. And then Kareem Hunt does something very similar, if not worse, and he's still in the NFL with the Chiefs.
Yeah, he's the best kicker in the league.
Oh Jesus. Okay. Yeah. No.
That's a joke. That's a joke. That's a joke.
I know. I knew that was a joke anyway. Just oof. That's out of taste. But yeah, no. So he was drafted in 2023. He had pre-draft concerns, supposedly with a shooting incident that happened at SMU.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he had a very productive rookie season. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl in his rookie year. Then he had the strangling charge against his ex-girlfriend who was pregnant. It led to a $1 million lawsuit. Then in March of 2024, he caused a multi-car highway crash in Dallas going 119 miles an hour, leading to injuries, and he fled the scene, so he got in trouble for that. Then he gets hurt in September 2024 with structural knee damage. I believe it was a torn ACL or LCL. Then he also has... in 2025, he pleads guilty to 2 felonies related to the car crash and received 5 years probation and a 30-day jail sentence, which is what you brought up, but it did not have to be served immediately. Then he served a 6-game suspension stemming from that in that 2025 season, and then obviously a couple days ago, he tests positive for marijuana in his system during his probation, and now he has to serve his 30-day jail sentence. It just seems like a whole bunch of chaos that can easily be avoided if you cut the guy. Now, granted, again, very talented player. We've seen other players do some similar stuff and end up staying in the NFL. It just seems like at this point it's too much drama.
Speaking of staying in the NFL and drama, I don't know if this is like a sore subject to touch on, but there's a player in jail who could be getting...
Oh, Henry Ruggs. Yeah,
he could be getting out on parole next month.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an NFL team that takes a wire on him?
Yeah. Because the thing is, here's my big difference. And I don't know this to the T like obviously probably insiders do or his lawyers or anything like that. But I know that when the incident with Henry Ruggs happened, he was very apologetic about it. He was very upset about it because he knew that he was wrong place, wrong time, made a stupid mistake, and it is what it is. It's different from a chain where you can literally type in on the internet, give me all of the incidents from X, Y, or Z's career, whether it be criminal charges or injuries, and you pull up the list and it's almost a page long. That's an issue. Henry Ruggs had one incident. And granted, it's not a knock because it still is unacceptable, but he acknowledged his actions.
He acknowledged... One thing I will say Henry Ruggs did that most NFL players don't do is he said, I did it and I was wrong for doing it.
Yeah. A lot of others said, oh, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Or they say, oh, I did it, but, it is what it is. He at least acknowledged that he made a mistake. He's been in shape throughout, I guess, his prison sentence that he had to serve. And he's still fairly young, so I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tries to take a flyer on him.
The Harbaugh, Neighbors isn't supposed to come back now until like weeks. They don't know when he's going to come back because of the surgery he just had just when Ruggs gets out, give him a waiver wire.
Well, I was just about to say, we were going to bring that up instead of Stafford, which we'll get to because that's the last topic we'll touch on before we go into the meat and potatoes again. But yeah, no. So Malik Neighbors ends up having surgery. I just saw the report from Adam Schefter this morning that they are uncertain of when Malik Neighbors will make his return to the field this year after he did just have a second surgery coming up. I know that that's a big blow to Giants fans because that's your number one receiver.
He'll probably come back like weeks 4 through 8.
Yeah,
maybe,
but the thing that stinks about it is the off season was so refreshing for Giant fans.
You want to know? What pisses me off as a Giants fan? You're the NFL, and you've seen the abundance of players that have gotten hurt on the turf at MetLife.
And they won't change it.
And yet, for the World Cup,
they changed it.
They put grass.
Yeah.
And once the World Cup is done,
they're going to put the turf back. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just leave the grass.
Yep. No.
Leave the grass.
They want more people hurt.
I don't care. Somebody send this to Roger Goodell. Leave the grass at MetLife, please, because the amount of players that have gotten hurt.
He ain't going to do it.
And have ruined their careers at MetLife.
He don't care. They should. You're right. They should. He don't care. He ain't going to do it. So that's a shame. Going into the year, obviously, they had much higher hopes than prior seasons. So they figured Malik Neighbors is back and healthy and ready for week 1 with a new-look Giants team under a new head coach, a lot of new pieces on both sides of the ball. You figured that this could be a big, prove-it year for them.
Yeah, they're going to sign Odell after June 1st.
Well, I would assume that they're going to end up trying to sign somebody because I still don't think that their receiver room is really that deep. I know that they signed Darnell Mooney and Calvin Austin during the offseason. I know that they drafted
Malachi Fields.
Malachi Fields from Notre Dame.
Big dude.
So, I mean, they made some moves about it, but losing Malik Neighbors is definitely going to be tough. I'm curious to see when he comes back because he is a big piece of that offense. And then the final thing we're talking about before we switch over to just a quick run through of the NHL playoffs and then getting into the biggest of all news in the tri-state area. Matthew Stafford also signed his extension with the LA Rams. It is an additional year for $55 million, so his contract is now 2 years, $105 million. So now the reigning MVP has 2 seasons left on his deal. He will be signed through the 2027-2028 season. That is great news for Rams fans.
I also saw that he was working out with Aaron Donald the other day.
He was, and you couldn't ask for a better guy to work out with because that man is a freak of nature. Look at the DK Metcalf interview that he did with all of them.
But that raises speculation. Aaron Donald. No.
Listen. Okay, as a Rams fan myself.
You don't want him to come out of retirement?
Hold on. Don't get the words twisted. As a Rams fan, would I love for Aaron Donald to come back? Absolutely. Is he going to come back?
No.
No shot. He's at peace. He did what he needed to do. He had nothing left to prove. He has every accolade in the book that you could want. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greatest to ever play defensively, if not just the sport of football.
He played, 10 years and was an all-pro all 10 years?
First team, all 10 years. 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Freak of nature.
Super Bowl champion. What he did at the defensive tackle position has never been seen before. So that is a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. But he's said multiple times over and over again, he's at peace now. We're going on multiple years now where he's had opportunities to come out of retirement and come back and play. At this point, it's not going to happen, even though he's still in great shape and he's not that old.
But with the NFL, doesn't matter. They could do what the Rams do with Eric Weddle. Wait till the playoffs start.
Trust me, though, if anything, don't you think he would have done it the past couple years when they had a good chance? They played Seattle in the NFC Championship last game.
Yeah, but I feel like this year,
no.
If Stafford's like, I want one more ring before I go out, I want you to come play.
Listen, but if Stafford would have won one more ring this year, he would have already been out. I think he would have retired if they won it this year.
I know. This is why I'm saying if Stafford says I want one more ring and calls up Aaron Donald come playoff time, and Aaron Donald's like, you know what, I'm in shape.
Trust me, the Rams are content with what they got on their defensive line right now, and they should be.
Before we go to the NHL playoffs quickly.
Yeah. I'll just breeze through that.
Two things. One thing, saw NASCAR legend pass away yesterday.
Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Mr. Eminem.
I believe he was 41
He
years
was
old.
41 years old.
Sad. Very sad.
I saw yesterday that he was pulled from the Charlotte Coca-Cola 600 this weekend due to a medical emergency, and he was rushed to the hospital.
Yep.
And several hours after that, he was reported that he had passed. And that is sad because I grew up, when I was younger, I used to watch NASCAR all the time. I wasn't a Kyle Busch fan, but I was more of a Tony Stewart guy. But Kyle Busch was always, he was a well-known name, massive name. He had a family. I believe he has 3 kids. It's just something that you don't want to hear.
No. I was blown away by it yesterday when I saw the news that said, excuse me, because I'm pretty sure he just raced last weekend.
He just raced last weekend, and I think he won.
Yeah.
And I believe he said something he said something along the lines of don't take it for granted because you never know when
it's going to be your last one. Yep, and sure enough,
it was his last one.
Wow, that was it was tough to hear that news. Very shocking.
And now, on the brighter side of things, we have something that is taking place in July that has been 5 years in the making.
Oh,
we have McGregor versus Holloway, Part 2.
I'm glad you said it. I was going to say something about it, and I just did not put it down. Yeah, Conor McGregor announced his return
back
for International Fight Week to take on Max Holloway in their second fight. I know a lot of people are thrilled by that. McGregor is
I never thought he was going to fight again.
I never thought he was going to fight again either. Plus, I believe he's 37 years old now, so he's starting to get a little bit up there in age. But obviously, for fighters,
I think if McGregor loses this, he's done.
Oh, no doubt about it.
But if he beats Holloway, I think he'll do 1 or 2 more.
I potentially believe that this may be one of the biggest cards that he's ever pulled in. Return after all these years.
It was supposed to be the main card at the White House.
Yeah, and then that pulled out because of probably drug testing.
Not even drug testing stuff. I think Dana White realized the amount of money he can make off of it and was like, yeah, we could put this at the White House card, but you can't have any fans at the White House.
Or not as many, yeah.
No, not any. It can't be any people to the public. It's all going to be all celebrities.
Well, regardless, the fact that McGregor's coming back at 37 to fight Holloway, that is going to be shaping up for a huge fight because they are going to be standing and banging the whole time.
When I saw that last weekend, I was shocked.
I'm going to make one quick thing, and then you can go back to your thing. I wanted to shout out to Mike on this one because I know Mike is a huge UFC guy. We've had him on the show before. If Mike tunes into this episode, which I'm assuming he probably may, if you do, we want to bring you on because I want to talk to you, especially that week. We got to bring him on to the show for that because I'm curious to hear his thoughts on it. I know I'm pumped for it.
Speaking of MMA, not just the UFC, did you see the Nate Diaz fight last week?
Yeah, dude. That fight was nuts. He's got a chin like nobody else I've ever seen. He just gets busted up all the time and just does not quit. Mike Perry was all over him, throwing elbows.
Nate Diaz didn't want the fight to stop.
No, Nate Diaz would probably still be fighting right now if they let that fight continue. He's a freak. And then obviously Francis Ngannou killed a man in the ring.
I saw that.
And then
Ronda Rousey won in 17 seconds.
Which, to be honest with you, I'm going to be a little bold here. I think it was staged. 17 seconds?
Well, yeah, that was like her last fight.
I guarantee you, pulled to the side. Listen, we're both going to make a bag here. You get down, I'll take you down, and I'll put you in an armbar in 17 seconds. I won't hit you, and we'll both walk away retired and make tons of money. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I'm sorry. It's not a shot at Rousey because Rousey, what she did in the UFC throughout her MMA career was quite impressive. It was very impressive. But for me, that just seemed really odd.
17 seconds?
That seemed really, really odd.
17 seconds? Like, what?
Yeah, the people really got their money's worth for that one.
Well, to be fair, they got to see Francis Ngannou and Nate
murder
Diaz.
Somebody. Yeah, but then they also were waiting for the main event fight, and it ends up lasting 17 seconds. That's almost as bad as the time that I paid $99.99 to watch Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo, and the fight lasted 12 seconds. I mean, obviously I was happy with the result, but 12 seconds is kind of a bummer. 17 seconds, also kind of a bummer. Kind of sucked.
Only good thing I can say about that is you didn't have to use pay-per-view for it.
No, you're right.
It was on Netflix. But no, I mean, yeah, Nate Diaz got his shit. He got.
Whoa,
my bad.
No, you're good.
Nate Diaz got his face
Bashed
kicked
in?
Yeah, bashed in. Oops.
Yeah, first
And-
one on the pod after 44 episodes.
Yeah.
Let's go. Dropping bombs.
Yeah, no, that was a complete mistake.
That's okay. I think it was fair to use it there.
Nate Diaz got absolutely pummeled.
But he takes a beating, man.
Dude, his face was covered in blood, and you could tell that when they called the fight, he was like, "Put me back in."
He didn't care.
He didn't care.
Dude, he's a freak.
And
but
then-
just very weird
Yeah.
card the rest of the way though. Obviously you got to see a lot of crazy names and stuff like that, but
Francis Ngannou,
yeah,
I mean,
he put that guy to sleep with the
Yeah.
left.
he didn't even connect on it either.
He didn't even hit him with full foot. He just got him right in the temple and it put him right out. If he would have landed that on the jaw, that guy was going sweet dreams.
I want to see Ngannou back in the UFC.
I would love to, but it's never gonna happen. I know he called out John Jones.
I would have loved to see that fight.
Yeah, but that's the only guy I think that John Jones would come out of retirement to fight. I don't think it would be Aspinall or Cyril Gane.
Can
or
Aspinall
anything.
even see?
Who cares? Boring.
I think it's gonna be. I think Pereira.
Pereira could potentially pull him too. Maybe.
No, Pereira's gonna fight Cyril Gane.
Yeah.
And I think the winner of that is gonna call out John Jones.
I pray to God it's Pereira.
I would love to see Pereira.
That
and
fight
John
would
Jones.
be insane.
Doesn't Pereira train in Connecticut?
Yeah, he's Danbury. So yeah, no, definitely I'm hoping that that's what ends up happening. But we will go to the NHL playoff stuff really quick. I know.
I think John Jones is hinting at a return because he goes, if they
He's
really,
been talking about it.
if they really think I'm done, why don't they just pull my name from the fight pool?
Trust me, that he's gonna end up coming back for the right fight. But yeah, no. So we saw the Stanley Cup playoffs. There's only 4 teams remaining now between the Eastern Conference Final and the Western Conference Final. You have Colorado and Vegas going head-to-head for the Western Conference Final, and Carolina and Montreal going head-to-head in the Eastern Conference Final. Both series have gone 1 game so far.
You saw, wasn't it Montreal who?
Montreal won last night. But
No, when they played against Buffalo, didn't they? They stunned Buffalo in games.
Yeah,
Was
in
that
game 7 in overtime. Yeah, and that's what led them to this point. But Vegas ended up winning game 1 against Colorado 4-2, even though Colorado did outshoot Vegas 38-28. Very surprising. You saw a big performance from Carter Hart in goal for the Golden Knights. The big thing for me, though, that I will say, and it's not a knock on Vegas, but missing Cale Makar definitely hindered the Avalanche that game. You don't have your power play guy who sits up at the point and kind of is your distributor that moves the puck around. He's the guy that gets the whole power play going. Not having him definitely hurt them a little bit. They still went 1 for 3 on the power play, but I feel like that power play when he's out there is that much more effective. You also saw that they needed depth guys on defense to step up and take on the role that Makar left open with his injury. They don't know when he's coming back. Hopefully it is for the next few or hopefully it's the next game. Maybe, may not be. I don't know. If Makar is going to be out, though, this may sway the series because Vegas has been on fire ever since they fired Bruce Cassidy and moved on to John Tortorella. I originally predicted that Colorado was going to win the Stanley Cup. If Makar is not there, Vegas may upset him. I do think, however, if Makar returns, the Avalanche find a way to handle the series, even if it goes 6 or 7 games. And then you also saw last night, Montreal defeated Carolina. Carolina loses their first game this playoff.
That's crazy.
First game, they are now 8-1 in the postseason.
That is insane.
And that game, I don't know what it is. Montreal loves to play in these crazy series. I mean, the Tampa Bay Lightning series that they played in first round
And then
was nuts.
they played Buffalo in the
That
second
series was nuts. That series also went 7.
Didn't they? Wasn't that Wasn't there a goal that got called back in that game 7? Or am I thinking of a game?
No, I think it may have been a different game, too. There may have been one in that game, though, too. The playoffs are just nuts, especially with Montreal right now. They come out last night, and Carolina scores the first goal in 33 seconds into the game from Seth Jarvis. Montreal goes, not so fast. 27 seconds later, Cole Caulfield ties the game in Carolina. Then they come out and score 4 goals in the first period, Montreal. And they take a 4-1 lead. Then Carolina storms back, or tries to storm back, makes it 4-2. And then one of the nastiest goals that I've seen during the playoffs, especially this one, from Slavkovsky. My goodness, the toe drag, ripping the jockstrap off of whoever it was defensively. I was so focused on the move himself, I didn't even realize what defenseman it was. Got absolutely cooked. And then he buries a goal, makes it 5-2, and then ends up netting a empty netter to win 6-2. Montreal, again, I talked about them last week on the last episode, has been fun to watch. Just the youth talent that this team has, led by such a great guy in Marty St. Louis, former Ranger. I mean, I've said it time and time again. I did not expect them to be this good, but they are entertaining as all hell to watch. I would not be surprised if they find a way to win that series too. Originally, I thought it would be Carolina because Carolina made easy work out of Ottawa and Philadelphia. And usually, I mean, they were a powerhouse the whole year, but it's also a little bit more normal that Carolina finds their way to the Eastern Conference Finals and then proceeds to lose. That's something that they've done quite a few times in the last few years.
Not to mention that Montreal is just in Canada and Canadians are known.
Yeah, but the thing I talked about last week on the episode is there has not been a Stanley Cup winner from Canada in 33 years.
Yeah, well, that could happen this year.
It very well could happen this year if they keep playing the way that they're playing. I'm assuming that Carolina's going to come out swinging game 2, but who knows? We shall see.
Now to the meat and the potatoes of this week's episode, probably maybe meat potatoes in the next week's episode, and the
for the foreseeable future.
For the foreseeable future, we have the NBA playoffs heating up, and boy, did we say that the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals are going to be 2 series that you do not want to miss.
Oh, absolutely. And they definitely did not disappoint. The first 2 games from each series. Obviously, there's one series that we're, I'd say, a little bit more invested in, as we do hold a bias.
I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty invested in this.
Well, no, but
OKC and Spurs
well,
series
so am I.
too.
But what I'm saying is there's a personal tie to the Eastern Conference. But the Western Conference Finals so far, you have the Spurs come out and defeat the Thunder Game 1 in double overtime. Victor Wembanyama, the alien himself, 41 and 24.
Of nature.
41 points, 24 rebounds.
Not to mention, it's Stefan Castle, who's a dog, too.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is that game alone, he's the youngest player in NBA history to ever record 40 points and 20 rebounds in a playoff game. And then the 3-point logo shot that he makes pulls up from 35 plus, ripping.
To tie the game, right?
To tie the game. I mean, what a performance from him.
I was at my friend's house, and he's a OKC bandwagon, right? And he was like, "Oh yeah, great shot, Wemby." The shot went in.
Ripped.
He went dead silent.
Yeah.
And me and my buddies just started laughing in his face.
That was nuts. But the reason why that game was as competitive as it was San Antonio throwing out the heavy, heavy pressure on SGA, trapped him really early, forced the ball out of his hands, and even if he did have shot opportunities, he did not play his best.
You want to know what scares me about that game specifically? De'Aaron Fox didn't play.
Yeah, I know. I said the same thing, but in this game, though, you see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 7 of 23, he finished with 24 points. Not a really great shooting game from him. And San Antonio comes out without one of their star players, and they beat the Thunder at home in Game 1. Now, again, I alluded to this last week. Before the playoffs, before We really got into the swing of the full season.
Before the full season even started, you said the Spurs were going to make the finals.
Well, Mike did as well, too. We sat here and we agreed and said that if anybody was going to give the Thunder a run for their money for that Western Conference championship, it was going to be the Spurs. And sure enough, I mean, with some of the talent that they have, with Wemby, Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox,
Dylan
Harper. I mean,
Julian Champagnie.
They got some players on that team.
You know, I know what I just realized. That if the Spurs and the Knicks both make the finals, what's-his-face gets a ring no matter what.
Yeah, Sochan.
Yeah.
He does. But, I mean, it's been a hell of a series there. Going back to game one at least. Harper, 24 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 7 steals in that game. He's the first rookie to hit those stats, or that milestone, since Magic Johnson in 1980.
Dylan Harper's a rookie?
Yes.
Damn.
And then, obviously,
Spurs are going to be good, dude.
De'Aaron Fox
Did not play.
Alex Caruso drops 31, leads the Thunder.
Yeah, Alex Caruso had the best game of his career.
Yeah. But then the Spurs
didn't
again
amount to
defensively
nothing.
locked down the Thunder and held them to 2 field goals in the entire second overtime period.
And then
they played very well defensively.
In game 2, we see
the Thunder get their get back.
Yeah.
And I mean, I kind of had a feeling it was coming too. The Thunder definitely played much better.
21 turnovers.
Which was crazy.
27 crucial points which were produced off of those turnovers.
Yeah, and then you also see San
OKC's
Antonio
bench.
struggled with the ball security. Stephon Castle, 9 turnovers.
Yeah, that was the only concern of that game out of Stephon Castle's play. Because you saw him absolutely poster. Who was it?
Oh,
Jalen Williams?
No, that was Isaiah Hartenstein that he postered. Which
he stared him down.
Oh, my God, that was nasty. But yeah, then Oklahoma's bench. I mean, Oklahoma City's bench.
They scored San Antonio's bench 57-25.
I mean, that was a big
part of a game is making sure that your bench can go in and consistently score points. Because when that doesn't happen and you find yourself down by 20 or 22, you usually don't come back from that.
And especially if your starters aren't hitting shots either. If your bench can't contribute anything, you're in trouble. But Caruso with 17, McCain and Case and Wallace had 12 points each. Again, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander comes back out, 30 points, 50% shooting, hits the dagger to really put the game away mid-range. And then, obviously, the Thunder's coach, Dino, gave Hartenstein more minutes and made
smart.
the adjustments.
I feel like I'm going to get a lot of slack from Thunder's fans for saying this, but I don't know if Chet is as good as people really think he is. I mean, I get you gave him all that money. I get he's 7 foot, but people were expecting Chet to be just like Wembanyama.
He's not even close to Wemby.
And he's not even close.
I'm sorry. He's not. But yeah, they ended up coming out.
I'm not saying that Chet's a bust because he's
no.
When you have expectations of being similar to what Yao Ming was, and
Yao wasn't nowhere near.
No, nowhere near them. But you're supposed to be the first 7-foot player in the NBA since Yao Ming, who can actually and a player who can actually produce, not like Bol Bol or Taco Fall, who kind of were just in there as a meme.
Yeah, or Zach Edey, who
Zach Edey hasn't done anything either.
Oh, well, he's on Memphis, so that's
that
explains that. Exactly.
I see. Chet was supposed to be this two-way slashing forward center that can shoot and score at will, and you haven't really seen that from him since his rookie season.
Well, he also was injured as well, so that's kind of put a damper on it, I feel, too. But I get your point of what you're saying is they thought he was going to be much more dominant, and he has not been. He's been a good counterpiece to SGA.
He's been a great counterpiece, but you gave him, $200-something million?
Yeah, he got a lot of money.
He got a lot of money, and you haven't seen the production
on top
from him.
On top of the fact that Jalen Williams gets hurt in the last game.
Yeah, that is
a big blow for OKC.
Wait, which one?
The starter, Jalen Williams.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he had a hamstring pull or something.
Well, I know isn't there 2 of them on the roster?
Yeah, I believe there is. There's 2. They spell them. This is why. There's got to be a way, okay, to identify.
One is J-Dub and one is Jason Williams.
Yeah. Regardless. regardless, it's crazy. But yeah, no, OKC's big win that game. They were 11 of 19 in field goal attempts. They played much better in that second game. Obviously, losing Williams is going to be a big blow to them. But what a series that we've seen so far from them.
Game 3 is tonight, right?
Game 3 is it actually is it tonight?
Yes, because the Knicks play
that's
tomorrow.
right. Because the Knicks play tomorrow. That's right.
Game 3 tonight is in San Antonio. I expect Wemby to have a huge game tonight.
I expect San Antonio to win tonight as well.
San Antonio is going to. I believe San Antonio is going to win tonight. I expect Wemby to have a huge game. Not only because they're facing OKC team that doesn't have Jalen Williams, but it's Wemby's first game in San Antonio.
Yeah. Well,
It's
first Western
game.
Final.
First Western Conference final game
at home.
At home. It's his first time in the playoffs.
That place is going to be rocking. It's going to be loud. They're going to be ready to go.
Exactly.
But we will talk about one last series, which, again, like I said, we have a couple personal ties to.
Exactly.
The New York Knicks start out the Eastern Conference Finals going up 2-0 on Cleveland.
Yeah, I kind of alluded to us speaking about this because when I said usually when you're down 22 points and your bench isn't really scoring, you don't really come back.
I know you didn't. I didn't want to say anything on it because we're going to be talking about that for the next, I'd say 15 minutes or so.
So,
what
for game 1, right?
What a game.
The last 7 minutes of game 1, I couldn't tell if I was watching basketball or if I was watching hockey because Brunson had James Harden on skates.
Well, I will say this. This is my side of the whole story because I missed a big part of that game. I was at work. When I'm leaving work,
They're driving home.
They were losing by about 14 points. I get in the car. I drive home. I go and make myself some dinner because I get home late. And I know my dad is watching the game because he's a big Knicks fan.
Yeah.
And I checked my phone and I saw the score and I'm going, oh my God, they're losing by 20-something points. And so I go and I'm starting to eat dinner and whatever. And my dad goes, holy, what? I go, what? He goes, they're down 5. And I immediately put everything down and ran back and watched the rest of that game. And then I went back and rewatched it afterwards. Holy moly.
I was out golfing with my friends. And we finished golfing around mid-second quarter. And they're like, you want to go get food? I'm like, yeah, where we can go to eat? I'm like, I want to watch the Knicks game. And they're like, oh, so you're a Knicks fan? I'm like, yeah. They go, let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings.
That place was probably rocking when they came back. Yeah,
exactly, yeah. And we were down, and they're like, let's get ready to leave. And then the waitress took forever to bring us our checks. So by the time we actually got our checks, the Knicks were already mounting their comeback. And I didn't want to be the one to say, I want to stay, because I could just watch it on my phone. But one of my friends was like, you know what? I think the Knicks might actually come back. He goes, we can't leave. They're like, we can't leave now.
No. You can't leave then.
I'm going to say this right now. The smartest thing that Mike Brown did that game was put Landry Shamet on Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, Landry Shamet played great defensively. That's what we're going to kind of get to.
You look at how Donovan Mitchell was frying the Knicks the first 2 to 3 quarters, especially in that third quarter. He had 30-something points?
I believe it was something like that.
In the first 3 quarters. In the fourth quarter and overtime alone, he had 3 points combined.
Yeah, and Shamet again.
So you saw Shamet come in and lock in. Nothing against Bridges, nothing against Hart, nothing against
anybody.
Deuce McBride. But Landry Shamet just locked Donovan Mitchell down, and that allowed – because I feel like when they were down by 22, right, they were forcing a lot of shots that shouldn't have been taken.
100%.
Because they needed to get everything back. And they were trying to get it back all at once, and you can't do that.
And they were trying to put him away,
They were trying to put him away. And you would see them hit a 3. You would see them do this. You would see them do that. And then you'd let them go right back down the court and let them hit the 3 or the 2. And then you saw Shamet come in and slowly just stop allowing Donovan Mitchell. Because I feel like when Shamet wasn't on the court, they would have to double or triple team Mitchell, and that's when you would leave Sam, whatever his name is. What's his name? The white boy.
Strus?
Not Strus. Not Strus, not Dean Wade. The guy, the white kid that almost hit the 3.
Oh, damn it. Oh.
It's not Sam Presley, is it?
It may be Presley, I think.
No, I gotta
It
look
may.
that up.
I feel stupid right now,
I feel stupid
too.
right now too. But it's Mike Breen had the preloaded bang, the end the game call, and it was that
And
guy.
it rolled out, yes. But
now, something that I want to speak about right now is that if I am the Cavs head coach and I am up 22, and all of a sudden you see the Knicks start to gain momentum, why are you waiting until they're down by 10 to call your first time out?
Well, actually, it's funny you said that because based on the analysis that I did, so you basically covered everything I was going to say. Harden.
I didn't even read this.
Yeah, I know. Harden exposed on defense.
Yeah,
I mean,
you saw Brunson put him on skates.
well, you know what? You know why he was on skates? And this is just a joke, so don't get mad. Because he was wearing those ugly ass freaking shoes. Those bright yellow highlighter sneakers.
He was on banana peels.
Dude, the Knicks ran down the court and all they had to do is look at the floor and go, where are the yellow shoes? The minute you saw the yellow shoes, that's where the ball was going. And they targeted him the entire time. They shot 11 of 13 from the field in that fourth quarter or in that last 7 minutes with Harden covering the shooter.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson.
Brunson fried him. Fried him.
Brunson put him on skates. We were down 22, and I was talking to
Cook.
I was talking to a parent that I saw because their children go to do gymnastics at the job I work at, and I was talking. He goes, I think this is in reach for the Knicks. I'm like, man, I hope.
Everybody doubts the Knicks until it's time to play the Knicks. It's the same thing with
know.
Jalen Brunson.
I know.
Everybody's better than Jalen Brunson until you have to play Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But, yeah, they expose Harden.
Game one, they're down by, maybe 18. He goes, I think this is in reach. And then he goes, are you I'm like, I'm a big Knicks fan.
He said it's in reach?
Yeah.
I thought he said out of reach.
No, he goes, I think this is in reach.
Oh,
which
okay.
I find hilarious because his son is a big Celtics fan, and I always make fun of his son for it.
I would too.
It's fun. I'm like, you're a Knicks fan? He goes, yeah. I'm like, I thought so-and-so doesn't like them. He goes, don't get me started. But, when they won, he was on the other side of Buffalo Wild Wings. I was on the other side, and we were just – it was full of Knicks fans. Everybody was just screaming.
Oh, yeah.
The funny thing is, right, the Knicks were down 22, and my same friend who's an OKC fan said it's hilarious that the Knicks are losing by 22 because he goes, the Knicks aren't going to do anything because they don't have any team chemistry. And the second after he said that –
You jinxed it.
The second after he said that, the Knicks scored 22. They won. I pointed at him. I laughed.
They do not want to see the Knicks.
No,
I'm sorry. They don't.
They don't.
But anyway, going back to what we were saying, because I do want to go over game 2 before we close out the show. They expose Harden on defense, put him in isolation 9 times, very effective. They basically scored 2 points every single time he was in isolation. You have Landry Shamet, like you mentioned.
You have Brunson hitting the clutch step back 3. Bridges hitting the Bridges' shot was locked.
Yeah, but Shamet's was crazy because he hit 3 huge 3-pointers in that game, including the one in overtime to really put the final nail in the coffin. He was a plus 25 when he was on the court, and he only played 17 minutes.
Now, here's the thing. Does he deserve more playing? I feel like he deserves way more playing time than he does.
Originally I was going to say yes to that, but that was because Josh Hart the first couple games, the first game and then maybe the last few of the prior series didn't really look as great. But after the way he played last night, you know what? Keep rocking with him.
Well, you put up 26?
26 points. I believe, let me see how many rebounds he had. He had 5 3-pointers in the game as well.
Didn't he have an insane spin move layup or something?
That was gross. Also, the one play that stood out to me, though, I know it didn't really mean anything because it didn't lead to a point, but this is just what I talk about when I say that Josh Hart and his effort is what makes this team that much better.
Didn't I kind of say that last week?
You did, but I'm going to reiterate it. He misses a 3-point attempt and finds a way to get the rebound by running in and jumping and grabbing the rebound over the top of somebody. And then they ended up fouling him, and it gave the Knicks another chance to try and score one more bucket before the end of the half. But his effort, his motor, the guy is the heart and soul of this team, no pun intended. But I guess the pun is included. He is the heart and soul of this team. I love the effort that he brings in and out of every single game. He played phenomenal last night, setting his personal career high in points in the playoffs with those 26. But a couple other things I want to just mention. Jalen Brunson, although he did not score many points, did exactly what good players do.
He facilitated the ball.
In a time where you are not scoring as many points and they are playing you down in a different defensive way, he comes out and facilitates and gets the ball around. I feel
like that's what makes Brunson different from other star players.
Yeah,
because when you're looking at, no offense to LeBron or Shea or Cade, Cade is pretty good at passing the ball, but like LeBron or Shea Curry's also a good facilitator. But most of the stars in the league, when they're getting played differently, I feel like they'll just drive to the rack and try and get the foul call so they can get the free throws.
They change their scoring style opposed to changing their approach.
Exactly. And I feel like there are, at times, Brunson does do that, but then there are other times where you see 2 or 3 men on Brunson and you see Brunson just throw the ball between the leg of somebody and bounces across the court to Josh Hart, and it's a wide open 3.
Yeah. And he did that last night. He had 14
that's exactly
assists.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Brunson isn't your stereotypical, oh, yeah, I'm the guy, I'm the person who has to run this team. It's got every point that's going to get scored is going to get scored by me.
Yeah.
He is the guy. He wants to bring the Knicks to the finals, and he's doing it any way that he can.
Absolutely. He played, again, phenomenal, even though he didn't put up that many points.
No, he
14 assists.
He didn't score that much.
He still scored, I believe, more than 14 points.
I think
because every member of their starting 5 scored 14-plus points.
Yeah, he may have had, he had 14-plus points before. That's a double-double.
Yeah. And he played awesome. Cat, again, 18 points, 13 rebounds. He had a double-double. OG Anunoby had 14 points. The team just played really, really well. But the big moment that came out for him is the 18-0 run in the third quarter. Turned the game around, held the Cavs scoreless over 9 possessions, took the lead away. Then they played really well defensively in that second half. Very impressive showing for them. But I will say one last thing before we close the show out here, and it's going to be a little bit of a shot at some of the analysts that are out there. The fact that guys, I saw a video on this last night too, Nick Wright, Colin Cowherd, and some of
Colin Cowherd doesn't know ball at all.
I know. Hold on.
He doesn't know it.
Nick Brousseau, all of them.
We could do a whole episode of this podcast talking about how Colin Cowherd doesn't know anything.
Listen. Okay,
Don't get me started about Colin Cowherd.
You're right, but no, this is why I'm going to say this. All of these analysts weeks ago, before the playoffs started, even before they beat Atlanta, before they swept Philly, were all saying that this Knicks team had no chance to go to the finals at all. Now, all of them are on the Knicks bandwagon saying that, I don't know if anybody's going to beat this team, blah, blah, blah. And all I'm going to say is this. Stay on that side. We don't want you over here.
The only 2 people that I remember thinking that the Knicks had a shot at making a run were DeMarcus Cousins and Kendrick Perkins.
Yes. But everybody else, all of them were all against the Knicks in the beginning, saying,
don't listen to Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd was saying that the Giants should trade Jackson Dart and draft Mendoza. That guy doesn't have a brain.
I know, but that's just for clicks, though. But what I'm saying is a lot of these guys...
Cowherd doesn't have a brain.
You're right, but again, all of these guys were coming out against the Knicks week after week after week after week. Now they start winning games, and every one of them's like, I don't know how you stop this Knicks team. Stay on that side, okay? They went crazy bashing the Knicks, saying that they weren't that talented, there wasn't any chemistry there, and especially years ago, all of them were saying, the Knicks are going to spend all their free agency money on Jalen Brunson. How stupid do you look now? How stupid. The thing is, I didn't say anything on the topic because they've definitely gotten me more into basketball, and my friends have over the past couple of years. Especially since we started the podcast, I've wanted to get more into it. You know where I stand with my whole hockey and basketball.
I know. I'm going to say this. When the Knicks signed Brunson, I didn't really watch basketball at all. I really knew nothing about it. I started to watch it more now that the Knicks have been better because there was no point for me to watch basketball and the Knicks were doing terrible.
Well, I mean, I watched during the Carmelo days.
Well, that's what I mean. But that's what I mean. Like, Carmelo days I watched. I knew a lot about basketball then. But when...
Even Nate Robinson and, Stephon Marbury days.
But when it was like Kevin Knox and Frank Ntilikina, like
Yeah,
I
well,
didn't really watch.
I
Like,
tuned out a lot.
I was a Knicks fan. I just wanted a jersey. I remember I had like a gift card for Christmas, and I wasted it on a Kevin Knox jersey. Like it was stupid.
But yeah. Anyway,
I was like, they're giving that money to Brunson to Lucas too, and then I'm like, that was the only thing I said.
well,
They
see,
said
I didn't even
DeLucas
say
too.
that. I
I'm
just said I'm kind of surprised that it's him of all people.
I'm
but
like, they're giving all the money to him. I'm like, you never really seen what he can do because he was playing with Luka, but I'm owning my words right now by saying that might have been the best signing that they made in their franchise history.
If I will go on a limb here,
If Rick Brunson wasn't a part of that coaching staff back then, I don't think they would have signed him.
not even that. If Jalen Brunson leads the Knicks to a championship,
He'd be the
and
greatest
they
Knick
win,
of all time.
he is the greatest Knick of all time.
Did you see? I saw something on Instagram after the other day. After the day after Brunson, they beat Game 1. They said Brunson's 3-pointer almost made Patrick Ewing stand up from his seat, and he hasn't stood up in 30 years.
Yeah. Well, no, that place was crazy. I know there were a lot of former players. Stephon Marbury walked down the court
I know.
when they hit I believe it was when Shamet hit the three-pointer to basically put the dagger in overtime. He walked onto the court. So, obviously, it's getting Knicks fans riled up. New York City has been nuts. I had, a friend there last night. He was showing me the videos. That place is a madhouse. And they aren't even in the final yet.
That place is going to turn into Gotham.
That place
is... If they make the finals, they might need to send the National Guard to...
The Statue of Liberty may get ripped out of the ground and carried around Times Square. So, they better be careful.
Hey,
but
if there's ever a time where a city needs a guy like Batman, now's the time.
Now's the time. But that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning into the Straight Outta Stratford podcast, episode number 44. I'm your host, Zach.
And I am Julian.
And we will see you next week. And go Knicks.
Go Knicks.